Welcome back, everybody. Well, going through a divorce can be tough for families, and now there could be new laws to consider when making those decisions. Heather Quick is an attorney at the Quick Law Group who focuses on divorce and family law for women specifically. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Charlene.
You know, I've heard some talk about this on the radio and on the news, so it's really great that you're here to break this down. So, you know, let's talk about the bill that's currently working through the Florida State Legislature.
Yeah, the bill is a proposed alimony reform bill, is the way it is titled, and it's in committees now being reviewed by the legislators.
Okay, so what's the focus of this bill? What are they trying to do with it?
The purpose of the bill is to reduce alimony, one, and really drastically change the current law as it relates to the way that alimony is calculated, determined, and received.
So can you talk a little bit about how is it currently, and then how could this change impact that?
Currently, the law is based upon it's typically the husband, so I'm going to say the husband's ability to pay and the wife's need. And a lot goes into that because every marriage, everybody's lifestyle is different, and so it really factors in. There's several factors that are evaluated to allow the court to make a decision based on the ability to pay and the need of the spouse.
So it's kind of a custom for each case.
It is. I mean, you know, we have certain parameters, obviously the length of the marriage, and when you have a traditional stereotypical type marriage where you have a homemaker and only one spouse working, it's
and these
very
women
clear.
could be raising children or could be in their 60s and have had raised their children, never been in the workplace before.
Absolutely.
So this is some of the factors. Okay, so how will this new bill that's being proposed affect women?
Well, I believe it's going to be really detrimental financially because what we're going to have now is a formula that will take the number of years married and then multiply it by a fraction and say, okay, that's your length of time, and then take, say, just the difference in income and multiply that out. So we're just going to have a formula, and it's only going to go up to 20 years. So, you know, women who've been married longer are really going to be hurt quite a bit financially.
So does it only deal with alimony? Because then there's child support and there's some other factors that go into when you're going through a divorce proceeding. Does it impact anything else?
Well, you know, it's very interesting because everybody talks about the alimony, but one important, really crucial part of the bill is that it has a statement about time sharing, which is what we would have traditionally called custody. And it now says time sharing is going to be presumed to begin at a 50-50 split, which that is not the law now, and frankly in this area in Northeast Florida that doesn't happen as a routine because the courts evaluate what's in the best interest of the child, and now it's going to really change that, which then will affect child support because that percentage of time with each parent does affect the financial support.
So how will this, I guess, what are your concerns about the impact it's going to have on women?
Well, one, I think that although in its publicity it's going to be used to reduce litigation and make things a little bit more even and fair, it's going to be very harmful to women. You're going to see a lot of long-term marriages where now men feel like they don't have to pay permanent alimony, may go forward with divorces, and you're going to see many women in a difficult position as far as particularly when they haven't worked and have been the primary caregiver of the children, and their relationship is going to be very difficult because, you know, they're not going to give up those duties they did have, and where are they going to find those financial resources?
Well, you know, it's funny because you often hear that when women get divorced, women are negatively impacted financially. Their way of life goes down. I mean, the ability to support their children goes down. And this sounds like it could make it even worse.
Yes, because even in the system we have now, we fight aggressively for women to get enough alimony, but it's of course not. You know, there's never going to be enough in child support, even by the formulas. It's really never enough to support a child.
Okay, so let's talk about what are the chances of this actually becoming a law?
Well, 2 years ago, this bill was essentially passed through both the House and Senate, and with our legislature composed of 75% men, it's going to pass again.
So what can women do about it? If it's already there, what can we do about it?
Well, it's there. Now, the governor does have the veto power. He vetoed it 2 years ago, so they've tried to change it to hopefully get him not to veto it. But I believe we should all reach out, one, to our legislatures because they haven't voted on it yet, but also the governor. And they can certainly call our office. We'll give them a letter to send and really help with that push forward.
In those letters, is there opportunity to tell a personal story? Because sometimes it's so important to put a face on that story, like this is what would have happened in my situation had this bill been
Absolutely.
into a law.
We'll provide them with a shell, so it says the name of the bill and what their concerns, but then absolutely you should always put in your personal reasons why it would affect you, because you know, that's what happens with the constituents, you know, voters. We need to let their stories be told.
All right. Well, Heather, thank you so much
Absolutely.
for giving us some background and some information and what we can do about it. Well, we'd like to thank the Quick Law Group for sponsoring this segment, and for more information on the Quick Law Group or to get a copy of one of Heather's books, please visit their website at thequicklawgroup.com, and also to get a copy of that letter, give them a call at 904-203-4420.